The man who is supposed to be in your corner, Stone Cold Steve Austin, is nowhere to be found here in the MCI Center.
Well, The Rock says this about Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold could be in D.C. Stone Cold could be in Texas. Stone Cold could be 2 minutes away from the building. The Rock doesn't know. But what The Rock does know, what The Rock can count on, what you can count on, what everybody can count on, is that The Rock can guarantee he's made the promise of the promise of the promise to the people. Is that tonight at Backlash, The Rock is walking out WWF champion. Triple H, The Rock says this: it doesn't matter who he has to go through, how many McMahons he has to go through. He will go through them, he will go through you. The Rock is making history, and The Rock is making history now. If you smell what The Rock is cooking.
We had, say what? A whole lot of superstars on this stage here tonight. But I want you to know one thing. And when I say who's the one that you got me loving you, this is so brand new. I'm interplanetary like Doctor Who. So fuck your beat, no relief. I step on stage, girls scream like I'm Keith.
All right, everybody, Ring Time Pro Wrestling is at it again. Keith is in the building. This will be a short show tonight. Basically, this is what I call getting caught up. We titled this show, What the Hell in a Cell? Because we watched Hell in a Cell, and it was kind of like, what the hell? There was a lot going on, right? So, we're going to talk about it. We're going to get you caught up. We're going to go over some other things that are out there in the world of professional wrestling. And so we can provide you with a solid show for next week. The WWE completed Hell in a Cell. We're not a lot of final resolution, but that's because, hey man, they setting up to go to Australia in October. So that has to happen. Then you got another pay-per-view. Then they got to go to Saudi Arabia. Then you got Survivor Series. So in the past, where we would just build to Survivor Series from here, and the storylines would be big for Survivor Series. Now, the way it looks like is that we're building for these other events. Like, they really want to sell these international events. The big hype has been the Undertaker Triple H match that's going to go down in Australia. And when we go to Saudi Arabia, it's going to be the triple threat between Brock, Braun, and Roman. Which, hey man, they got Brock out the house, so you know they spending money. So we're going to talk about it. So I'm going to go right into this thing. Not going to take too long. I'm using a different set of headphones and stuff like that, so it sounds a little weird and I'm kind of thrown off, but stay with me, bear with me. We're going to have a good show. If you hear me cough or something, excuse me in advance. I've been dealing with a little bit of a cold as we are getting towards the end of the summer. And it is fall in Georgia. And even though it's still like 90,000 degrees outside. But we're coming. There'll be another show later on this week prior to Friday, which, for y'all who don't know, is my birthday. Yay me. And so that was the wrong sound effect. Anyway, let's get to this all in. Hell in a Cell. Sorry, I got my New Japan thing up on the side. So the show opens up with the Hell in a Cell match. And the first thing that's noticeable is they have changed the cell. It is a all red cell, which for SmackDown people probably sucks. But yeah, all red. I think they just tried something new. I don't know aesthetically if it really matters. Everybody who knows me and listens to the show, I'm more of a traditionalist. I prefer the traditional cell that they have for Hell in a Cell, but I also don't think Hell in a Cell should be a pay-per-view. Hence, that's why at one point we only had like 5 Hell in a Cell matches in the history of the company. Now we have 40. And some of them are hot garbage. Having a week to digest the Jeff Hardy-Randy Orton match I'm glad I didn't do a recap right away. And I say that because I like this match more the second time around. And this is what I'll say. A lot of us old heads like to complain about wrestling and how it's done and this, that, the third. The spot with the screwdriver in the ear, I thought was really good. And this is why. It appeared to be gruesome, but it didn't put anybody in any real danger. So you got the effect of like, this is disgusting. Randy Orton is deranged. This is just, oh my God, poor Jeff Hardy. But in reality, Jeff has what they call gauges or whatever in his ear. So the ear is already stretched out. So you take that screwdriver and you turn in the ear, you just basically wrapping the skin around the screwdriver, which really ain't doing nothing. Now, if he would have just jerked the screwdriver and ripped the earlobe, now that would have, which it put you in a position where you felt like that could have happened, but it didn't. So it didn't go too far, but it went far enough to give you the idea of sadistic, right? But it was something that Jeff could recover from. I just thought it made sense. But when I watched it, I did. The live reaction was like, what are they doing? Is this... Also, I don't like things that make me kind of when I watch wrestling. And what I mean by that is this. It's like the thumbtacks. I hate the thumbtacks. I am an advocate against all thumbtacks in wrestling. I think that is the worst. Why? Because you know what? You know what I've never done in a fight? Look for a bag of thumbtacks and throw them on the ground because I'm trying to body slam a guy into some thumbtacks. No, it's not how that works. And all you do is just get a guy with thumbtacks stuck all up in him. Nah, I'll pass. Anyway, Randy Orton defeats Jeff Hardy in that first Hell in a Cell match. Now, I will say this. I still contend that feud wasn't hot enough for Hell in a Cell. And this is probably what having Hell in a Cell as a pay-per-view. I feel like the going in the cell should be a final resolution. Which, they're not ready to do a lot of final resolutions. But, like AJ and Samoa Joe might have had more staying power in a cell. That kind of thing. The next match, Becky Lynch defeated Charlotte Flair fair and square for the SmackDown Women's title. And I say fair and square because a lot of times when a heel beats a babyface, it's some shenanigans. Charlotte Flair was 18-2 in championship pay-per-view matches coming in to this match, which is probably one of the more dominant records in the history of professional wrestling. Her losing to Lynch is huge. I think that really shows a lot. Now, this is the hottest feud probably on the main roster, right? Between the main roster and people who are wrestling on the main roster, this probably is the most significant and credible feud. And it has all the right storytelling elements. Charlotte Flair, legacy, already in her short career has proven herself to be one of the greatest of all time. Got all the accolades, got all the championships right now to prove it. Her best friend, Becky Lynch, does not come from that same pedigree, but they're still friends. So this is like the SmackDown half of the Four Horsewomen, where Raw has Bayley and Sasha, right? So they're friends, but they've been rivals before. Becky and Charlotte have been on the opposite side trying to get that belt. But as of late, they chatted up more bosom buddy. But then Becky realized, I can't be champ being your friend. All right? And this happened to Hogan a lot during the 80s. Hogan get Tugboat hanging out with him, and then Tugboat turns on and becomes Typhoon. Why? Because you only can go so far being the friend of the champ. Because if you're the friend of the champ, you're not a threat to the champ, and you want to be champ. You can't be friends with the champ. Becky realized that. She terrorized Charlotte leading up to this match. And then she beat her. And she put her on in the ring. And then, hey, after the match, Charlotte wanted a handshake. She wanted to say, hey, let bygones be bygones. I understand what you did, what you had to do. Becky said, kiss my ass. This is my moment. What are you doing here? So, hey, all in all, I'm very pleased with the match. I was very pleased with the result. I think this has legs and will continue on. Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre defeated Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose for the Raw Tag Team titles and possibly match of the night, right? Very good match. All 4 guys left it out there. The false finishes wasn't absurd. They didn't kick out of everything. Guys didn't use their major finisher to get kicked out of. So, bravo to that. I like that Dolph got to get carried out by Drew, and that, hey, we went through it, but we walked away with the belts. And the balance of power doesn't really alter at that moment. So, the way Raw is constructed, Rollins and Reigns have the 2 singles titles. The Strowman Alliance has the tag team titles. If the titles went to the Shield would literally have all the belts. And that's what the Strowman Alliance is trying to get to. They're trying to get to all the belts. And now they won't be able to trust each other because I think everybody there wants that Universal title. But, at some point, they'll deal with that when they deal with it. First, they got to just remove the Shield. So, that was a good match. And I thought, there's still some room for them down the line. AJ Styles defeats Samoa Joe. Controversial finish. Of course, this is set up for another rematch where I think it's going to be a no DQ in Australia. But Joe had the clutch on AJ. AJ tapped, but Joe's shoulders were flat on the mat. The ref counted the 3 count. He was on the opposite side, so he couldn't see AJ tapping. I think that works out. So we'll see how that goes long term. This is a good feud. I just wish that the WWE Championship was more positioned towards a main event slot on these pay-per-views. That's all. Because you got 2 top-tier main event guys right now. I mean, these guys, Samoa Joe and AJ, they have chemistry. They have a lot going on because they've known each other for so long and they've wrestled each other in every company. So, this could work. The Miz and Maryse defeat Brie, Bella, and Daniel Bryan. That is good. The Miz and Maryse did not need to lose 2 mixed tags in a row to Bella and their significant other. Also, confession, I watched Miz and Mrs. Or I watched it when it was on. And I liked the show. It might be one of my favorites, if not the favorite I have of the WWE reality shows. Total Bellas is okay. Total Divas was the clubhouse leader because it was the first one, and I dug it, right? But Miz and Mrs. is really good. Now, just understand, if you can't stand Miz and don't want to root for him or anything like that, don't watch that show because I don't think you could watch their interaction, him and Maryse, and how they do things as a couple, and not. Maryse's mom is there, and the dogs. All I'm saying is very hard to watch that and then be like, I'm a root against them. Nah, you probably won't. But yeah, they won. Ronda Rousey defeated Alexa Bliss. Decent story. So basically, Bliss had already injured Rousey before the match. Rousey fights through. Rousey's still the baddest woman on the planet. She hasn't had to face her old friend Natalya, who's going to probably turn on her. And sometime in the next few months, because that's the way stuff looks. Now, excuse me for drinking. Throat getting kind of scratchy. The main event. Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman. Hell in a Cell. So the match starts. And it's a decent match. Here's what I'll say. I am not the biggest Roman Reigns fan. For those of you who know, I came all the way around on Braun Strowman because when he first debuted, you could go through the archives of these shows. I'm like, I don't understand what this big gimmick guy is going to ever do. Now I'm like, this dude could be the face of the company. So there's that. They're doing their match. Everything is going good. It's in the cell, so we can have a definitive winner and figure it out from there. Dolph and Drew show up. Then Seth and Dean show up. And they brawl. And their brawl sometimes ends up on the top of the cage. Which 4 guys fighting on the top of the cage has the camera's attention. I don't know if Braun and Roman were laid out in the ring or what, but because you didn't know. The camera went up to follow the other 4 guys. And it was about 5 or 6 minutes of that in the match. To the point of, hey, we don't even care about the title no more. Then, of course, Dean and Seth end up going, Dolph and Seth end up going through a table. Oh, wow, that's a big spot. What about the title? What about the guy fighting for the title? Then Brock Lesnar shows up. Brock shows up with a mountain beard. I can tell he's been up-traded and not on the PEDs because he's looking slim. That's not nice. I shouldn't have said that. Sorry, Brock Lesnar. Please do not F5 when you see me. Alright, anyway. So, Brock comes in and it's like, hey, they're in a cell. The whole point of being in a cell is nobody can get in. Everybody got to deal with it. Brock rips off the door of the cell. A la Kane 1997. Hey. Brock then goes in. F5s Braun and Roman, beats the hell out of him, and it leaves. Now Mick Foley, special guest referee, was maced by Paul Heyman. Another official came down to the ring, called the match, no contest. First of all, inconsistent. You can't have a no contest in the Hell in a Cell. I don't care if the competitors were beat down or whatever. Yeah. I mean, it all became a cluster. So, the no contest, I think, one, there's precedence for it. Once again, first Hell in a Cell. Kane rips through the cage. Kane takes out Taker. Shawn Michaels wins the match. Now, what you do is you leave Roman and Braun beat the hell down. And maybe you do a 10 count. And then one of them gets up and then the other one gets up and you do it that way, right? And then they fight some more and then we get a winner. Calling it as no contest to a match that doesn't have rules doesn't really make sense. Sure, it was interfered with, but you just gotta let it ride. And you've done that in other Hell in a Cell matches. Or steel cage matches. No DQ matches have had all kinds of weird interference. And all kinds of guys have been left laid out. Last man standing matches have had the same problem. But you know what? You keep it going. So somewhere, they should have been able to find 5 more minutes of a match that they could have had and declare the winner. And you still got the controversy with Brock showing up. Especially if Roman wins, because then Strowman says, hey man, that guy helped you out and saved your ass. Just like he said on Monday, even though Roman didn't lose, he's still the champ. So, even though he didn't win either. Right? So that's the thing too. The no contest, nobody won or lost. Also, Braun Strowman, Money in the Bank, just in the win for no reason. That was your Money in the Bank cash, yes. And it didn't go anywhere. Also, they symbolically should have started the match with Braun handed over the briefcase. But that's another story altogether. But that's it. That was it for the pay-per-view. All in all, B-. Like, it was okay. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. It wasn't the worst I've seen in the last, even 3 to 4 months. Because WWE, you have put out some stinkers, sir. But yeah, that's it. So, with that being said, we'll do our break. We'll come back. Then it'll be news, Raw, They did SmackDown. They did. I'll let y'all go home. Get ready for church. It's going down Sunday morning. So, yeah. We'll be right back.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. As you can tell, Jim Cornette and the Midnight Express are ready to take on the world.
Let me tell you something, we are going to take on the world. We already have taken over the world. We're the World Tag Team Champions, the hottest commodity in wrestling. The time in that Philadelphia Civic Center when beautiful Bobby came off that top rope, landed on Arn Anderson's head. It changed in that brief moment the entire face of professional wrestling. We beat the odds, we beat the system, we beat the unbeatable team. Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson, what you beat was a hasty retreat, brother. And in that same instant, beautiful Bobby and Sweet Stan became recognized. We got the proof, brother. It ain't bragging, it's fact. We're the #1 tag team in professional wrestling. You want to talk about diversity club, brother? Rick Steiner won a letter in football, had to have somebody read it to him. You want to talk about Mike Rotundo? He loved school. High school was the happiest 9 years of Mike Rotundo's life. But let me tell you something, Varsity Club, and that little troll, Kevin Sullivan, don't come after us, brother, because we'll put you in the ground like a stake and make you 2 feet tall instead of the 4 feet 6 you are right now, Sullivan. Let me tell you something else while we're at it. Dusty Rhodes and any of his super partners, you're more than welcome to try. I already talked about the Fantastics. I already talked about the Road Warriors. I already talked about those sheep shearing sheep herders. I'll give you something to shear, brother. The Midnight Express. If you can clip their wings, you're doing something, because we're the hottest thing going today, like it's been so often said. And J.J. Dillon, the 1988 poster boy for Alzheimer's disease, I heard you say that you're going to redeem yourself at my expense. Well, brother, the only thing J.J. Dillon is going to redeem is going to be some of those S&H green stamps he's been saving up. Get him a lawn chair for his old age, which began in 1957. So, J.J. Dillon, you are a victim of sour grapes, brother. You're a sore loser, just like all the losers are. But when it comes to the Midnight Express, that's all we wrestle as losers, because can't nobody beat us. This is unheard of. This has never before been done, never before even been attempted. All these championships, all these honors, and all these accolades, and whether you like the Midnight Express or not, the one thing you love the Midnight Express. Well, we love the Midnight Express too, and we don't care who else does, because we're out for ourselves, and we're out for one thing only, and that's to keep this glory. And whether you like it or not, you've now got to admit what I've been saying all along is the truth, because we got the proof. We're the #1 tag team in professional wrestling, and everybody else is playing catch-up now. It's been too long, David Crockett, since we started saying that we were the best, that everybody's been doubting us. Everybody's been saying, Cornette, you're just going off. It ain't true. Well, now, finally, no matter where you are in the world, even your little pea-brain, David Crockett, and that little weasel face of yours has to admit that we are the best of all time. We are #1. We're on top of the heap. And the only thing that's going to make it even sweeter, maybe, is when we get all these commercials and all these endorsements that are coming up. And most of all, when we go home and my mother says, Jimmy, you done a good job. And Bobby and Stan, I'll always do you good. That's going to be the best thing.
All right, everybody, we are back. Birthdays. So today is the 23rd September. Easy. Kairi Sane, NXT Women's Champion, celebrating her birthday. Kairi turns 30. Matt Hardy turns 44 today. Who I think has basically retired. Shouts out to Matt. Tomorrow, 24th. Sonya Deville celebrates her birthday. Sonya Deville will turn 25. Wow. Okay. And the big one is Stephanie McMahon. She will turn 42 on Monday. So shouts out to Steph. So on the news ain't gonna be heavy this week. TNA is doing their Hall of Fame this year for Bound for Glory. Every year, just like the WWE does at WrestleMania, TNA decided, or Impact Wrestling decided that Bound for Glory, they would induct a guy. They've inducted Sting. I think they've inducted Kurt Angle and the Dudleys. Well, this year, they're inducting Abyss. And I think there's nobody probably more appropriate than inducted Abyss. Now, I think Samoa Joe and AJ Styles might have something to say about that. But the thing is, they are under WWE contract, and they probably don't. Impact doesn't want to have to deal with that contractual implications, so yeah, I deal with that as you deal with it. But I think Abyss will be a good addition to the Hall of Fame, and he's definitely worthy. Like, we talk about building blocks for that company. That guy is an original, right? Did go to WWE and stuff like that. Proud of him. Sasha Banks is out with an injury. No real word on how long she'll be out. She's been dropped from the Mixed Match Challenge. I'm sure they'll reconfigure Bayley's storyline. But yeah, Sasha Banks is out for a little bit. So we wish her well. Hopefully, that turns around positive. Of course, there are more Kenny Omega rumors go sign with the WWE. All right. Anyway, crazy enough, they say Vince McMahon is meeting with Madison Square Garden. Don't know what that means. And this is a report that was reported by Ringside News. The news on the report stated that Vince McMahon was going to have a meeting with people at MSG. The meeting did not happen. Vince is not having a meeting with anybody at Madison Square Garden or anything like that. I'm sorry to be miscommunication. See? That's cool. We'll see. Yeah, because I guess the idea is this. ROH, they were coming to MSG for WrestleMania weekend. And there's going to be huge crowds. And I'm sure it sold out pretty quick. And Vince wants to leverage his relationship with MSG so places like Ring of Honor and New Japan can't get in there. But I got confused here. Sorry, everybody. But Vince sees the competition as a threat, maybe. Or he's like a drug dealer, right? To go to the wire, String told Avon, look, man, we don't need to be bucking over quarters. We moving product. We selling more than we had before. We good. Avon still wanted his quarters. Vince McMahon wants his corner. That's what the MSG is about. Not that Vince is making billions of dollars on a cable deal and still has to re-up the Raw deal, so expect even more money for all those people who have bought WWE stock and shot the stock price up. There's still room for improvement. So be on the lookout. Gonna be a lot of cash on hand at that company. So yeah, Vince wants his corners. That's what this is about. So let's go into Raw. Roman Reigns opens the show. Mad about Hell in a Cell. Braun comes down. Everybody calls out Brock. Of course, Brock ain't there because Brock don't show up to work 2 days in a row. Corbin announced a triple threat for Saudi Arabia. Then Corbin decided, hey. Oh, also, Braun tells everybody they suck. That was an important note for there. Paul Heyman gives a Brockonomics course. I thought was pretty good. But then Baron Corbin announced that he will challenge Roman Reigns for the Universal title on Raw later on that night. Now, funny how that lays out. So, I thought it was an interesting plot device. And this show, the show was better than the pay-per-view. I'll say that. I've heard people say online, like, this is stupid. If Corbin can book himself for the title match, why would he do it more often? Here's why. One, he thought he had somebody vulnerable. Two, it's a good plot device, right? But you can't overuse it. One of the things that's probably with the WWE is that if they thought it was successful, every week he would try to make title matches, and that takes the sting out of it. But him trying to get one right after the pay-per-view was just him being an opportunist. I like that because he's a heel authority figure, yet still he's a temporary authority figure, so his main thing is still trying to be a wrestler and maybe getting the title and using his position that he has right now to get to a belt that he couldn't otherwise get to. I think it's a good story, a good thing to work with. So that kind of worked out. Drew McIntyre defeat Dean Ambrose. I hated that both of those guys had to wrestle each other in a one-on-one. But what I did like was that they wrestled one-on-one. There was no shenanigans. Nobody came down from the back. Nobody got involved. It was just them two doing what they had to do. And Drew McIntyre won. Chad gave him defeat Victor. The Undertaker showed up again because he is promoting the hell out of this Australian shit. Shawn Michaels is going to be in the corner for Triple H. So the Undertaker reached out to the mayor of Knox County in Tennessee and called Kane. I guess Kane will be able to fly to Australia. I'm sure the greater Knoxville area will be fine while he's gone. But yeah, that's going down. So Kane will be back up for the Undertaker. Which, there's also this kind of thing that, hey, Shawn Michaels might be trying to come out of retirement, at least for like one more match. Which he'd have to, like Taker said, you'd have to face Taker at WrestleMania. Like, there's no real way around it. Like, you could, because you can't just have just a regular match. It has to be something huge. And the only thing that, who knows? I mean, I like Shawn staying retired. But they said like he will be wrestling in November according to Meltzer. Oh, Meltzer reported, so it might not be true. Teaming up with Triple H. Oh, so Shawn will wrestle with Triple H in a tag team match against Kane and Undertaker in Saudi Arabia. So this thing is going to drag out. Because you know why? In Saudi Arabia, Shawn Michaels is still a big name. Not that he's not a big name here. But when these things go forward, there's a lot more emphasis on these older guys because I think the TV ain't always 100% up to date. So Cena and Triple H was really huge for for Saudi Arabia. So this year, I guess they try to figure out another way to stack the crowd in Saudi Arabia because it's a lot of money, I guess, and they'll air it on the network. So a lot of money. Okay, so that's that. Seth Rollins, who was injured along with Dolph Ziggler from the night before the Hell in a Cell. The kind of the storyline was if Seth was hurt or couldn't show up, Dolph would win the belt by forfeit because Corbin hates the Shield, right? And no, Rollins was there, and him and Dolph probably had one of the best match on Monday Night Raw that week. And they turned it up like they should, and Seth eked out of there with a win. And I thought both of them sold and did a good job with that. The Riot Squad attacked Ronda Rousey, only to be thwarted by the Bellas. Elias defeated Bobby Lashley via DQ. The interesting thing from that match was Lio Rush made his Raw debut, and he's the manager of Bobby Lashley. Kevin Owens came down to be a problem. Lio showed off his acrobatic skills with running from Kevin and Elias, and then Lashley, protected him like Big Brother. So we'll see how that works out. Ember Moon and Nia Jax defeated Mickie James and Alicia Fox. The crew from Alexa Bliss basically needed a match. They challenged Ember Moon. They didn't think Ember had a partner. It just happened to be the Irresistible Force, so that happened. Roman Reigns defeated Baron Corbin to retain the Universal title because, he would have. No need to screw up main events other places. If he would have won, I thought it would have been okay. So Braun came down to the match and got involved because his logic was, I struggle with Reigns, but I know I can just beat the hell out of Corbin. So if Corbin gets the belt, I'll go with it that way. And I guess, Braun don't have a rematch clause. He's not the champ. How does it work out, though? Because then, if the authority figure takes the belt, he just won't ever book you guys in a match. So, I don't know. Roman defeated. Now, this match had a lot of people getting involved. Dolph and McIntyre showed up with Braun. The Shield got involved, but the match ended with a clean pin by Roman Corbin. So that happened, and it was a good job. I thought the show ended good with people tired and dangerous, and that was good. On to SmackDown, so we can wrap this thing up. I'll let y'all go, and I can go too because the throat getting a little dry. Miz opens up the show with Miz TV. Daniel Bryan comes down after they say some crazy stuff. Miz and Maryse try to set him up. Bryan catches it, beats up Miz. These two will wrestle, and the winner will get a WWE title shot. So we're putting both of these guys back where they need to be. Main event status. Cesaro defeated Kofi Kingston, and nothing really too much to worry about. Shinsuke Nakamura defeated Rusev for the United States title and retained. Now this match was interesting because we saw the dissolve of Rusev Day, because Rusev told Aiden, stay back. Alana got this. We do this better without you. And that is 100% true. But, may not have been proper. I don't know. But, yeah. So, this is my problem with that match. One, I think Nakamura is getting a raw deal with his U.S. title, because his matches aren't about the belt. So he beats Jeff Hardy. Next time he wrestles Jeff Hardy, Randy Orton is there. Randy Orton beating up Jeff Hardy. Okay, well, what about the belt? Or just the title? So, like, how I don't know. Well, now this match, he's just another ancillary figure. Like, there's nothing to connect him to. He just hold a belt on a show that, it's kind of, So, okay. Sorry, I just kind of had a lost moment. AJ Styles defeated Andrade Almas in a non-title match. Asuka defeats Billie Kay. With Naomi, of course. Peyton Royce is there. So, all that stuff goes down. And finally, Becky Lynch hosts her championship coronation, which Charlotte Flair interrupted and tried to attack Becky and got them hands and got served. And Becky sent a resounding message that don't mess with me. I like the women were basically the main event. They were the main attraction. I like that Becky is more comfortable with the mean streak that she has developed. And I think she's going to be a good champ. I think Charlotte's in trouble. I don't know how she's going to get past this. This monster has been brewing for a while. As mad as you are at her, you're nowhere near as mad as she is at you. And that's where they are right now. So I think it's interesting, and that one will probably be the feud that continue to have the spotlight. I mean, it'll just be good. But with that being said, that's our show for today. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for indulging me, my ideas about professional wrestling. Oh, before I leave, so if you up tonight, why not? You're not doing nothing. It's the 23rd. New Japan, Road to Destruction is going down. Well, they got us at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. So check it out. Road to Destruction. Hold on. Maybe I'm looking at something wrong. No, it's not even Road to Destruction. We are at Destruction. And there will be, it's coming down on 3 o'clock in the morning. So probably an hour and a half after this show goes live. I can give you the match lineup. And it has English commentary. It's coming from Kobe World Hall. So let's go down the lineup. The first match. Yota Tsuji versus Yua Amira. Second match, 20-minute time limit. Shada and Ren Narita will take on Show and Yo, Roppongi 3K. Third match, Tiger Mask and Liger. They're the third match. Kind of interesting because my first year really watching New Japan pay-per-views all the way, Liger and Tiger Mask always was in the first match. Whether it was a battle royal, whether it was like an 8-man tag, whatever. But they're going to take on El Desperado and Yoshibu Kanamura. And the fourth match, 30-minute time limit. 6-man tag. See how they build up? No, I'm sorry, 8-man tag. Then the fifth match, it'll be another 30-minute time limit, which Chucky T and Beretta will be taking on Lance Archer and Davey Boy Smith. Glad to see those guys back at it. Sixth match will be a 6-man tag. Then I have Jay White, Yoshihashi, and Will Ospreay against Toa, Hanare, Dave Finlay, and Juice Robinson. That should be good. Seventh match, 6-man tag. Crazy how many matches is going in. Zack Sabre, Minoru Suzuki, Taka Michinoku gonna be out here. And they taking on Sonata, Eva, and Naito. Eighth match that night, Kushida versus Bushi for the Junior Heavyweight Championship. And in the ninth match, the main event, 60-minute time limit. It's a preliminary match for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship at the Tokyo Dome. Basically just like a warm-up. And who do they have? The greatest rivals of the past 5 years in New Japan. Tanahashi versus Okada. Who, hey man, this one is good. Because Tanahashi won the G1 Climax. And they have him as the rights holder. That guy, I kind of wrote him off. I thought he was going to be kind of how Cena is now, where he shows up, but he's not about the main event. No. Tanahashi still trying to get back up there to be the man. But it's clearly Okada's time now. And that being said, even with Kenny Omega having the belt, it's still Okada's time. Kind of like when AJ Styles was there, and it was him and Okada going back and forth, but it was clearly Tanahashi's time. Like, Tanahashi was still the man, and that's where the belt was. And even though those other guys would get the belt, it always came back home to Tanahashi. Now, I'm going to say that it's Okada's time. He's probably had the best 2 to 3 year run of anybody in wrestling. And he finally vanquished Tanahashi at Wrestle Kingdom, which is the way he had to do it, because beating him in other places really didn't matter. It is like winning the world title. One thing I think in wrestling, you have to win those titles at the biggest events. If you ain't crushing it, don't look up for Hall of Fame later. I don't know. But that's all for the tangent. But yeah, should be a good show. That show gonna be like 4 hours tonight. So pop in when you can. I don't think I'm just gonna be trying to do that live to Japan, because I got to get some sleep and I got to go to church in the morning. But what I will say is, thank y'all for indulging me. Thank y'all for listening. And we will be back later on this week with some more wrestling, and we'll try to give you a well-rounded show. But also, be on the lookout for Kind of Like Sports Podcast. It is my other podcast where I will talk about sports and society, and how sports allow us to have larger conversations. So be on the lookout for that. And with that, we will be updating the website. And peace.